Stop thinking your blood pressure is fine just because the number at your doctor's office looks normal. Most people believe high blood pressure means headaches, dizziness, feeling unwell. So if you feel fine, you're fine, right? Wrong. Completely wrong. I've opened the chests of patients who were perfectly healthy just 1 week before their stroke. This happens far more often than you think. Men and women who were walking their dogs, cooking dinner, laughing with their grandchildren just days before. No warning, no symptoms. Nothing to signal what was coming. Blood pressure doesn't send you a warning before it attacks, especially at night, especially after 60. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm Ethan Cole, a cardiothoracic surgeon with 15 years of experience, and what I'm about to share could save your life tonight. That drink you have before bed, it might be doing nothing for your blood pressure. Or worse, it might be raising it without you even realizing. But if you choose the right drink, the right way, at the right time, you could lower your blood pressure by 7 to 15 points while you sleep. Enough to bring someone from stage 1 hypertension back to normal. And it costs less than $1 a day. Before I can tell you what those 3 drinks are, you need to understand something about nighttime blood pressure that will change everything. Something your doctor probably never explained. Stay with me because what happens in the next few minutes will transform how you think about blood pressure management. Here's the core problem with how blood pressure gets measured. Your doctor checks your blood pressure once during an office visit for about 30 seconds. 30 seconds out of 86,400 seconds in a day. That snapshot is what your entire treatment approach is based on. And for most of those remaining seconds, you're asleep. That's exactly when things get very interesting. Under normal conditions, your blood pressure does something remarkable during sleep. It drops by about 10 to 20% every single night. We call this the dipping pattern. This isn't optional. This is your cardiovascular system performing essential overnight maintenance and repair work. Your heart repairs itself. Your blood vessels recover. Your kidneys process waste. Every one of these processes depends on that nighttime pressure drop. But here's what changes after 60. Your arteries gradually stiffen. Your blood vessels lose their elasticity. The whole system begins running differently. And your autonomic nervous system, the one controlling that nighttime pressure drop, starts losing its rhythm. The signals get weaker and less reliable. For millions of people over 65, that nighttime dip simply stops happening. The pressure stays elevated or even rises higher while they sleep. You wake up tired. Your head feels foggy. You think, I just didn't sleep well. But the real explanation is something completely different. And most doctors never catch it because they're only looking at that 30-second snapshot, not the full 8-hour picture. Let me tell you about Dorothy. Her story will show you why the timing of what you drink matters more than you ever imagined. Dorothy was 71, a retired nurse, someone who should have known better. She'd been managing high blood pressure for 15 years, taking her medication faithfully every morning, checking her numbers regularly. Her daytime readings were pretty good, 135/82. Not perfect, but acceptable with medication. She felt fine during the day, energetic, active, no symptoms. Everything seemed under control. Then it happened. Dorothy had a mild stroke at 5:30 in the morning. Not a massive stroke, thank goodness, but enough to land her in my hospital. Enough to terrify her and her family. But here's what Dorothy didn't understand. And here's what's critically important for you to hear. Her daytime blood pressure wasn't the problem. Her nighttime blood pressure was the problem. In healthy people, blood pressure naturally drops 10 to 20% during sleep. But Dorothy wasn't in that group. Her pressure stayed elevated all night. And then it surged even higher in those early morning hours, putting enormous stress on her brain's blood vessels at exactly the moment when they were most vulnerable. And nobody knew, because nobody was measuring her blood pressure at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. when the stroke happened. We discovered this later with 24-hour blood pressure monitoring, but by then, the damage was done. Here's what terrifies me about Dorothy's story, and this is something I need you to really hear. She's not alone. Studies show that up to 50% of people over 65 are non-dippers, people whose blood pressure doesn't drop properly at night. More than half. Not a rare edge case, the majority. Half the people in that age group are carrying hidden cardiovascular risk that their morning blood pressure readings will never capture. What does that mean for outcomes? Non-dippers carry a cardiovascular mortality risk 3 times higher than those whose pressure drops normally with identical daytime numbers. 3 times higher with the same daytime reading, the same medication, the same diet, just from what happens during those 8 hours of sleep. And there's an even more dangerous pattern. Reverse dippers, people whose blood pressure actually rises during sleep, higher at night than during the day. For reverse dippers, stroke risk increases by a factor of 4 to 5. And they feel completely fine during a standard office visit. I want you to sit with that. Standard office visits catch none of this. None. Zero. That's the diagnostic gap we need to close. And the damage accumulates silently in the walls of your arteries, in the tiny vessels of your kidneys, in the tissue behind your eyes, month after month without a single symptom to send you seeking help. The body compensates quietly until one day it can't. And if you're waking up to urinate every night, as I've discussed in previous videos, here's what you need to know. Every time you wake up, even for just a few minutes, even if you don't remember, your body triggers a sympathetic response. Your heart beats faster, your blood pressure spikes. That's the fight or flight response. And it happens every time you open your eyes at 2 a.m. to walk to the bathroom. This is a dangerous loop that few people recognize. Nighttime urination wakes you up. Waking up causes your blood pressure to spike. Elevated blood pressure throughout the night damages your kidneys. Damaged kidneys produce more urine at night, and you urinate even more. This loop continues night after night, year after year, until a threshold is crossed. Fragmented sleep also means cortisol. The stress hormone doesn't drop like it should. Instead of dropping, it spikes while you sleep. And high cortisol means high blood pressure. That's why today I'm not just talking about blood pressure. I'm talking about sleep, about what you drink before bed, about how to break this dangerous loop. Now let's talk about things already in your home that may be silently making your nighttime blood pressure worse. You'll be genuinely surprised. The first one is licorice root. I know, that sounds harmless. It's an herbal tea, natural, calming before bed. Many people love it. But licorice root contains a compound that blocks a specific enzyme in your kidneys. Without that enzyme, cortisol builds up in your bloodstream. Elevated cortisol at night means your blood pressure surges. You don't feel it happening. You just wake up exhausted with no obvious explanation. Check the label of your evening tea tonight. Licorice root hides under the name sweet root, glycyrrhiza, or buried inside natural flavoring and herbal blends. The second one is alcohol, specifically evening alcohol. And what I'm about to explain will surprise most moderate drinkers significantly. The initial sedative effect of alcohol does temporarily lower blood pressure. That part is real. But 3 to 4 hours later, something else begins. Right in the deepest stage of sleep, there's a rebound spike. Your sympathetic nervous system overcorrects. Blood pressure surges sharply. Cortisol spikes. Your blood pressure can reach its highest point of the entire 24-hour cycle at 3 a.m. You don't feel it. You're asleep, but your blood vessels aren't. You don't have to eliminate it completely, but consider shifting alcohol to dinner, not in the hour before you go to sleep. The third one is grapefruit juice, especially when taken with certain blood pressure medications. Grapefruit juice blocks the liver enzyme that breaks down medications like amlodipine or other calcium channel blockers you may be prescribed. The drug accumulates. What was designed to work gradually becomes dangerously prolonged and unpredictable. That unpredictability is especially dangerous at night, when there's no monitoring, no one to catch symptoms, and no easy way to respond. If you're taking blood pressure medication, ask your doctor about grapefruit interactions. This isn't something to guess about. If you're finding this video helpful, hit the like button right now. It helps this video reach other people struggling with high blood pressure every night without even knowing it. And subscribe if you haven't. We're here every week with guidance made specifically for people over 60. By the way, where are you from? And has your doctor ever talked to you about nighttime blood pressure? Comment below. I'm curious to know. Now, for the most important part, what you can do to lower your nighttime blood pressure. You already know what to avoid, but what you really need is what to do. And here's the good news. There are 3 bedtime drinks that have been scientifically proven to help lower blood pressure by 7 to 15 points while you sleep. That's a clinically significant reduction. Some blood pressure medications only lowered by 5 to 10 points. And when I reveal drink number 1, the one that's been tested in clinical trials with results so powerful they nearly match prescription medications, you'll wonder why your doctor never told you about this. But first, let's start with drink number 3. We'll build up to the most powerful one. Drink number 3 will surprise you because it's so simple, so ordinary that most people completely overlook it. But the science behind it is absolutely solid. Drink number 3 is low-fat milk. Specifically, skim or 1% milk consumed about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. I know what you're thinking. Milk. That's it? That's one of the big 3? Yes, and let me explain why this humble beverage deserves to be on the list. Low-fat milk contains a unique combination of 3 minerals, calcium, magnesium, and potassium, that work together to lower blood pressure. Calcium plays a crucial role in blood vessel function. Your blood vessels have smooth muscle cells that contract and relax to control blood pressure. These cells need calcium to function properly. When calcium levels are optimal, your blood vessels can relax more easily, reducing resistance and lowering pressure. But it's not just calcium. Magnesium in milk helps your body use that calcium effectively. It also has its own blood pressure lowering effects by helping blood vessels relax. Potassium helps your kidneys excrete excess sodium, one of the primary drivers of high blood pressure. These 3 minerals create a synergistic effect. And here's what makes bedtime the ideal time. When you drink low-fat milk before bed, your body has 7 to 8 hours to absorb and utilize those minerals. They work throughout the night while you rest. A study following over 28,000 women for 10 years found that those who consumed the most low-fat dairy had an 11% lower risk of developing hypertension. But here's the critical detail that most people get wrong. It has to be low-fat or skim milk. Whole milk doesn't provide the same benefit. Why? Because whole milk contains saturated fat, which can actually interfere with the blood pressure-lowering effects of the minerals. Saturated fat can promote arterial stiffness and inflammation, counteracting the positive effects. So how do you use it? 1 cup of skim or 1% milk, about 8 ounces, consumed 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Simple as that. Now, some people can't drink milk. Lactose intolerance, dairy allergy, personal preference. Whatever the reason, that's okay. You have 2 more options, and both of them are more powerful than milk. Let me show you drink number 2, and this one has research behind it that will truly impress you. Drink number 2 is chamomile tea. Not just any chamomile tea, but properly prepared chamomile tea consumed 30 to 45 minutes before bed. And when I show you what this gentle, soothing herb can do for your blood pressure and your sleep, you'll understand why it's been used medicinally for thousands of years. But first, I need to explain something that most doctors completely miss: the connection between sleep, stress, and blood pressure. Poor sleep and chronic stress are major drivers of high blood pressure. When you don't sleep well, your body produces more stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. These hormones directly raise blood pressure. They also make your blood vessels less flexible, stiffer, and it becomes a dangerous spiral. High blood pressure causes poor sleep. Poor sleep raises blood pressure even more. On and on it goes. Chamomile tea breaks this spiral. Chamomile contains a compound called apigenin. Apigenin binds to certain receptors in your brain that help you relax and feel sleepy. It's a natural, gentle way to improve sleep without the side effects of sleeping pills. But here's the second thing, and this is what most people don't know. Chamomile has direct effects on your cardiovascular system. Studies have shown that compounds in chamomile tea can help relax blood vessel walls, reduce inflammation in the arterial lining, and lower the activity of your sympathetic nervous system. That's the part of your nervous system responsible for the fight-or-flight response, the thing that keeps blood pressure elevated. A study published in the Journal of Advanced Pharmaceutical Technology and Research found that regular chamomile consumption significantly reduced systolic blood pressure in patients with hypertension. Another study showed that chamomile tea decreased markers of inflammation that contribute to arterial stiffness. When you improve sleep quality and reduce stress, blood pressure naturally improves. Indirect but powerful, and there are no side effects, no drug interactions to worry about, no tolerance that develops over time. Now I need to give you some important details about how to use chamomile effectively. First, quality matters. You want organic chamomile tea, preferably loose leaf or high-quality tea bags. The cheap stuff you find at the grocery store often has very little actual chamomile in it. Most of it is filler. Second, preparation matters. Use 2 tea bags, not 1, or 1 heaping tablespoon of loose-leaf chamomile per cup. Steep in water just below boiling, about 190 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, for at least 5 to 7 minutes. This extracts the maximum amount of beneficial compounds. Third, timing matters. Drink it 30 to 45 minutes before you want to fall asleep. Not right before bed because you'll just have to get up to use the bathroom, but not too early because the relaxation effects are strongest in the first hour after drinking. And fourth, consistency matters. This isn't something you drink once and see results. You need to drink it every night for at least 2 to 3 weeks to see the full blood pressure lowering effects. But as impressive as chamomile tea is, and as powerful as low-fat milk can be, neither of them compare to drink number one. Drink number one has clinical trial data that rivals prescription blood pressure medications. And when I reveal what it is, you'll be shocked at how inexpensive, how accessible, and how powerful this simple beverage really is. Are you ready? Drink number one is hibiscus tea. Specifically, tea made from the dried calyces of the Hibiscus sabdurifa plant. And when I show you the research on this remarkable beverage, you'll understand why it deserves the number one spot. The clinical trial data on hibiscus tea is truly extraordinary. A study published in the Journal of Human Hypertension followed 65 adults with pre-hypertension or mild hypertension. Half of them drank hibiscus tea 3 times daily. The other half drank a placebo beverage. After 6 weeks, the hibiscus tea group had an average reduction in systolic blood pressure of 7.2 millimeters of mercury. That's not a small effect. That's clinically significant. To put it in perspective, some blood pressure medications only lower pressure by 5 to 10 points. Another meta-analysis looking at 17 different clinical trials found that hibiscus supplementation significantly lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 7.1 millimeters of mercury and diastolic blood pressure by 3.3 millimeters of mercury. And this was consistent across different populations, different doses, different study designs. But here's what truly impresses me. In one study that directly compared hibiscus tea to the blood pressure medication lisinopril, hibiscus was nearly as effective as the drug, nearly as effective as a prescription medication. Think about that. A tea, a simple, inexpensive tea that you can buy at any health food store or online for less than $10 a bag that lasts a month. Nearly as effective as a medication that costs significantly more and has potential side effects. So, what's happening in your body when you drink hibiscus tea? Hibiscus tea contains powerful compounds called anthocyanins, the same compounds that give berries and red wine their color and health benefits. These anthocyanins have multiple effects on your cardiovascular system. First, they act as ACE inhibitors. ACE stands for angiotensin-converting enzyme, and it's the same enzyme that many blood pressure medications target. When you inhibit ACE, you prevent the formation of a hormone called angiotensin II, which causes blood vessels to constrict. Less angiotensin II means more relaxed blood vessels, which means lower blood pressure. Second, anthocyanins improve the function of the endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels. A healthy endothelium produces nitric oxide, a molecule that signals blood vessels to relax. When your endothelium is damaged by high blood pressure, inflammation, or aging, it produces less nitric oxide, and your blood vessels stay constricted. Hibiscus helps restore endothelial function, increasing nitric oxide production and promoting vasodilation. Third, hibiscus acts as a natural diuretic. It helps your kidneys excrete excess sodium and water, reducing blood volume and therefore reducing pressure. Now, how to use hibiscus tea effectively for blood pressure? And I need you to follow these guidelines precisely because dosage matters. You need to consume the equivalent of at least 1.5 to 2 grams of dried hibiscus per serving. That usually means 2 tea bags or 1 heaping tablespoon of loose-leaf hibiscus. Steep in boiling water for at least 6 to 8 minutes. Don't rush this. Longer steep time extracts more anthocyanins. The color when properly brewed should be deep burgundy, almost like dark red wine. If it looks pale pink, steep it much longer. You can drink it hot or let it cool and drink it over ice. That doesn't matter. What matters is the dose, the concentration, and the consistency. If you don't like the tart flavor, which some people describe as similar to cranberry, you can add a small amount of stevia. Don't add sugar or honey, because that adds unnecessary calories and can spike blood sugar. But here's an important warning, especially for those struggling with nighttime urination. Hibiscus has mild diuretic effects. It helps your kidneys excrete water. That's part of why it lowers blood pressure. But this also means if you drink it too close to bedtime, You may find yourself urinating more at night. This is why the timing for hibiscus is different from the other two drinks. Instead of drinking it 45 to 60 minutes before bed, as many people recommend, I suggest you drink hibiscus tea in the afternoon, around 4 to 5 p.m., or early evening, around 6 to 7 p.m. This gives your body enough time to process the diuretic effect before you go to sleep. If nighttime urination is a major issue for you, consider using chamomile tea or low-fat milk as your primary bedtime drink, and save hibiscus tea for the afternoon. A few other important notes. Hibiscus can interact with some blood pressure medications, particularly ACE inhibitors and diuretics, potentially making them more effective. That's usually a good thing, but it means you need to monitor your blood pressure more carefully. If your numbers start dropping too low, or you feel dizzy or lightheaded, you need to talk to your doctor about possibly adjusting your medication dose. Hibiscus can also lower blood sugar slightly. If you're diabetic and taking medication, monitor your blood sugar and let your doctor know you're consuming hibiscus regularly. For the vast majority of people, hibiscus tea is completely safe and beneficial. But I want you to know these exceptions so you can make the right decision for your own body. Now, I need to be absolutely clear about something extremely important. These drinks are not magic. They cannot replace blood pressure medication if you've been prescribed one. You should never stop taking medication on your own without talking to your doctor. What these drinks do is support your body's natural nighttime repair processes. They help enhance the blood pressure lowering effects you're already getting, or provide protection if your numbers are borderline. They work best as part of a comprehensive approach to blood pressure management. You still need to manage your sodium intake. You still need to maintain a healthy weight. You still need regular physical activity. You still need to manage stress, and you still need to take your prescribed medications if your doctor has given them to you. But when you add one or more of these drinks to that foundation, you create a powerful combination. You give your body the tools it needs to lower blood pressure naturally while you sleep. If you're taking blood pressure medication, especially ACE inhibitors or diuretics, talk to your doctor before adding hibiscus tea to your routine. The effects can be additive, and that's something your doctor needs to know to monitor you properly. A question I often get asked is, can I combine these drinks? The answer is yes, but strategically. You can absolutely drink hibiscus tea in the afternoon or early evening, then have chamomile tea closer to bedtime. Or you can rotate hibiscus one night, chamomile the next night, low-fat milk the night after that. Or you can choose the one that works best for you, and stick with it consistently for at least 3 to 4 weeks to see how your body responds. What I don't recommend is drinking all three every single night. That's simply too much liquid before bed, and you'll be up all night going to the bathroom, which completely defeats the purpose of improving sleep quality. Remember, the goal isn't just to lower blood pressure. The goal is to sleep better, deeper, with fewer interruptions. Choose 1 or 2 drinks and use them wisely. You've just taken in a substantial amount of information. Let me distill all of it into 3 specific actions you can take tonight. Just 3. First, go to your tea cabinet right now. Read every single label. Look for licorice root, also listed as glycyrrhiza, sweet root, or natural flavoring. If you find licorice root in your evening tea, that tea moves to the morning shelf or out of the house entirely. Tonight. Second, be honest with yourself about evening alcohol. Not harsh, just honest. Is it happening regularly? Is it close to bedtime? If so, know that rebound blood pressure spike is real. It's happening at 3 a.m. whether you feel it or not, every single time. You don't have to eliminate it, but consider shifting it earlier, with dinner, not in the hour before you go to sleep. Third, choose one of the 3 drinks and try it tonight. If you want simple and easy, low-fat milk, 1 cup, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. If you want to improve sleep at the same time as blood pressure, chamomile tea, 2 tea bags, steeped for 5 to 7 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes before bed. If you want the most powerful effect and aren't worried about nighttime urination, hibiscus tea, 2 tea bags, steeped for 6 to 8 minutes, consumed in the afternoon or early evening. 3 steps, that's it. Check your tea cabinet. Be honest about alcohol. Choose 1 drink. Here's what I want you to understand at the deepest level. Your daytime blood pressure is just the starting point, not the complete picture. Nighttime blood pressure matters just as much, often more. More than half of people over 65 are non-dippers, carrying 3 times the cardiovascular risk of those with identical daytime readings. 3 times. With the same office reading, almost never detected by routine visits. There are things in your home making this worse. Licorice root in your evening tea, evening alcohol, grapefruit juice, with certain medications, and there are simple, inexpensive, scientifically proven drinks that can help. Low-fat milk, chamomile tea, and hibiscus tea. Sometimes the solution isn't in a pill bottle or a complicated treatment. Sometimes it's as simple and familiar as a cup of tea, consumed the right way, at the right time. Comment below and let me know which drink you're going to try tonight. Hibiscus, chamomile, or milk. I read every comment, and your experience truly helps others in this community understand what questions to bring to their next appointment. If this video gave you something useful, share it with someone over 60 who you care about. A parent, a spouse, a close friend. This is exactly the kind of information that gets lost between appointments and referrals. Your share could be the bridge for someone who needs it. I'm Ethan Cole. Take care of your body. It's the only home you have.